Welcome back to Patrick Boyle on Finance. So the big financial news story right now is around Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. No sooner did the news break that Pfizer's vaccine was found to be more than 90% effective than we heard that the chairman and CEO of Pfizer sold 60% of his stock position in Pfizer, totaling $5.6 million worth of stock, into the huge rally that the announcement caused. So what can we make of this news? Is this possibly an example of illegal insider trading? And is it worthwhile for investors to monitor the trades done by corporate insiders? Okay, so on Monday morning we heard the good news from Pfizer, which caused both Pfizer's stock and the stock market in general to rocket. Value stocks soared while the working from home stocks like Zoom fell. Then the news of Pfizer's CEO's stock sale broke, and many people wondered what to make of it. Does the CEO possibly not have faith in the new vaccine? Of course, journalists contacted Pfizer right away, and Pfizer released a statement saying that this sale was an automatic sale, planned months in advance, and it did not relate at all to the news announced earlier that day. When asked if the CEO thought to cancel the stock sale due to the possible perception of wrongdoing, Pfizer's spokeswoman said that these are predetermined plans managed through a third-party stock administrator. So what happened was that the CEO, Albert Boyle, sold the stock as part of a widely used stock trading plan designed to shield corporate executives from allegations of illegal insider trading. It appears that this sale was planned in mid-August, so a bit less than 3 months ago. These plans are known as 10B5-1 plans. I know it's a catchy title. And their purpose is to put stock trades by corporate insiders on autopilot. Executives are supposed to adopt these plans only when they're not in possession of inside information that can affect a company's stock price, which is known as material non-public information. Now, the timing of both the implementation of Boyle's plan and the execution of the trades has raised questions about what the Pfizer CEO knew and when he knew it. Did he possibly know that the vaccine research was going well back in August when this plan was put in place? Many news outlets are speculating that there may be further scrutiny from federal regulators to come. Well, let's look first at the timeline of events. On August 19th, Boyle put his stock trading plan in place according to his disclosure to the SEC, and you can find that data online. The next day, on August the 20th, Pfizer issued a press release on phase 1 safety and immune response data, where they also confirmed that Pfizer were on track to seek regulatory review for its vaccine by October. The financial news outlets obviously covered the August news, noting that the stock was moving sharply higher on an optimistic vaccine timeline. The close timing between instituting the stock plan and the next day press release could be problematic, as it's questionable if an executive at a pharmaceutical company should implement or modify their 10B5-1 plan the day before announcing data or results from drug trials. If any of my viewers do have legal training, I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on this issue in the comment section below. A Pfizer spokeswoman responded to questions about this timing by saying that the company did not believe the August 20th press release contained material non-public information. She said that a stock plan administrator had previously vetted the implementation of the CEO's stock sales plan. The spokesperson noted that the August press release simply confirmed an earlier timeline announcement. In addition, she said that the press release contained information from an academic study of Pfizer's vaccine and that the company did not control the timing or the content of that study. Pfizer told the press that the sale of these shares is part of Dr. Boyle's personal financial planning and a pre-established plan. Dr. Boyle authorized the sale of these shares in February and renewed that authorization in August with the same price and volume terms. Boyle's plan was set up such that it authorized stock sales when the share price hit certain targets, and Monday's news simply caused the stock to hit those target prices. Pfizer additionally point out that although the size of the stock sale on Monday was significant, he still holds approximately 9 times his salary in Pfizer stock, so he's still well invested in Pfizer. Now, these trades, of course, bring to mind similar concerns with another vaccine maker, Moderna. Multiple executives at Moderna adopted or modified their stock trading plans just before key announcements about Moderna's vaccine. Those executives have sold tens of millions of dollars in stock, even though the company has not completed its vaccine trials. Interestingly enough, I do know a little bit about corporate insider trades, as many years ago I started out my trading career working for Victor Niederhofer, who was one of the pioneers of quantitative trading. When I worked for Victor, he was writing a book called Practical Speculations, and my colleagues and I helped out with a lot of the research that went into the book. I'll put a link to both of his books in the video description below, as they're really well worth reading. At the time that I worked there, Victor had the idea that because it takes so long for drugs to work their way through the regulatory system, it might be worthwhile monitoring corporate insiders at biotech companies and monitoring their stock purchases and sales. His idea was that even if they weren't breaking the law by trading on material non-public information, these insiders may simply have a good feeling for how well a drug trial is going, and they might buy more stock in their company when they felt things were going well. Victor found in his research that insider buys were a good trading signal for buying the stock, but insider sells were not a good short signal. And if you're interested in learning more about short selling, I'll put a link to my video on that topic in the description below. So back in 2001, when we did this research, we found a company that collected all of the data on corporate insider trades, and they sold it online. Now, Victor paid for this data and had an intern download all of the data systematically on biotech companies for our analysis. After about an hour of downloading the data in order to prepare it for analysis, the website that we paid for stopped working. And then shortly afterwards, the enraged owner of the website called us up, and he was convinced that we were downloading all of his data in order to set up in competition with him. He told us that he had been in business for years and had never seen anyone download all of the data that they'd paid for before. I guess that kind of tells you something about the amount of quantitative research that was going on at the time. Today, obviously, quant trading has grown hugely, and hedge funds all around the world buy in all sorts of data, and a data vendor would no longer be surprised to see someone download all of the data for use in their statistical analysis. And if you're interested in how that sort of statistical analysis is done, I've put a link to my statistics book in the video description below. So I guess the question is there anything shady about what's going on at Pfizer? And I'm sure we'll find that out over time. But in the research that we did back in 2001, insider buys were the thing to look out for, not sells. If the CEO wanted to profit from Pfizer's possible breakthrough, he might have been better off just buying the stock back in August rather than putting in a sell limit order. If you were watching out for activity as a retail investor trying to mimic and profit from insider stock transactions, you'd be looking out for the buys, not the sells. So yesterday in the news, Anthony Fauci told the Financial Times that the Moderna vaccine was identical in many respects to the Pfizer vaccine, which might tell you that Pfizer is facing some strong competition in selling vaccines. It's worth noting that many of the pharmaceutical companies, including Pfizer, were initially hesitant to get involved in a search for a vaccine in the early days of the pandemic. And this was due to the accelerated timeframes required, the intense public scrutiny, and the risk of there being no profit associated with a discovery. Owen Jones, who writes in The Guardian, yesterday wrote that the pharmaceutical companies should not be able to profit from a vaccine, that the patent should instead be owned by the public. This type of idea might drive a pharmaceutical company insider to sell into a stock spike rather than buy more stock in anticipation of a blockbuster drug or vaccine. We should always be wary of the idea that people need to work to the extent of their ability and be paid to the extent of their needs, as such a societal structure could severely limit the output of the most productive people or companies in society and bring innovation to a halt. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.